Michael R Fletcher. Now sit back and prepare to be entertained.
You're comfortable. Oh, hi. We're back. We said all the secret stuff when we weren't recording, and now we're back to the professional-ish, or the close to
Yeah,
professional.
very, very, very generous definition of professional.
Exactly. This is the very top level of our professionalism here at the Dripping Bucket. Everything from here is downhill. So thank you for joining us for a second episode, in spite of how professional we are, Gareth. And I guess Fletcher is interested in picking your brain about the trilogy experience because he's been complaining about it a lot lately. Because that's what he does, and that's why we love him. Yeah, I'll let you open the door, Fletch. And
yeah, so I've got 3 finished trilogies, and I am sick and fucking tired of writing trilogies. Book 1 is always great fun. Book 2 is like pulling teeth. And by book 3, I just want to kill all the characters. So I've written
spoilers
one standalone.
For all of Fletcher's trilogies.
I've written one standalone, and I'm now into writing another standalone. And I seem to recall you mentioning that standalones were the way of the future, and I'm just going to run with that. So explain yourself.
Well, no, I've had sort of a sort of similar experience where Black Iron Legacy, which is the God of Prayer, and its sequels.
Okay.
What I tried to do with them was, I'll make them all semi-standalone. But where I messed up there was that I got too heavy into the continuity, and you can sort of read the first book or the second book on its own if you're lucky, and then reading the third book on its own would just be a fool's errand because there's just so much backstory. That's because I just like doing callbacks and so forth. So then with the new trilogy, the Firstborn, that was sold as a trilogy. Well, it was sold. I pitched it as a standalone to go expand into the trilogy.
They didn't let you.
I knew it was going to. The contract was for a trilogy. I knew I had 3 books, and so I wrote the first one. All fine. Written the second one, and I'm looking at the sales second one going, they're okayish, I think, but the first one sold better because
it's the first
new series. Am I just cutting out a large chunk of the audience by making it a series? Do people, unless you have a series that is done fantastically well, which gets you sorted anyway?
Yeah.
Are you better off doing like an Agent Tarkovsky thing and like churning out semi-standalone books and just always having your name out there, and you can play with new ideas, you can play with new characters, you can see what hits, and if something does really resonate and take off, you can always go back and do a sequel to that, as opposed to saying, I'm going to spend the next 3-4 years stuck in this one thing, and if book 1 falls, or if I discover through book 2, I actually really hate doing all this. You're still chained to this rock of book 3.
Or more, depending on how many.
Or N, yes.
Yeah.
And the other reason I have this rand-slash opinion is, going back to Tolkien stuff. Tolkien didn't write a trilogy. He wrote one giant book, which they split because of print costs after World War II. And that is the only reason, as far as I can tell, that fantasy goes for trilogies all the time. No one goes Sherlock Holmes shows up in 20 stories. Yeah. Therefore, all detective series must be exactly 20 stories long. No,
and other genres stand alone a lot better too.
Exactly.
If you want to jump into Dennis Lehane's novels, he's got the Kenzie series that's about 7 books long, and you could read any of those books in any particular order. And certainly, you get the character history better if you read them in order and watch the drama piling up of this guy's life. But it being private detective novels, every single book stands alone. And I think fantasy is kind of unusual in that we don't do that.
Yeah, I think it used to that. Like, the Conan stories, for example, they're all
Yeah.
standalone. Like, you can read
Yeah.
each if you want. Like, all the early fantasy stuff was much more episodic, or just like, here's a random short story, and then we get talking, we get the trilogy, and suddenly publishers go, oh, fantasy books come in threes. And they got the thing like the 70s and 80s where everyone was doing talking clothes, and they were in threes, and it just locks in just this weird cargo cult, and there's nothing inherent in the genre that demands trilogies.
Yeah, it's like we're doing it because it's tradition. Why is it tradition? I don't know.
Tolkien is entirely why I wrote 3 books, 3 like trilogies. And in fact, the stupid thing is, Tolkien is also why, because my first copy of Lord of the Rings was in one monstrous paperback, was why I took the Obsidian Path trilogy, and released it as an omnibus in one fucking book, is just so I could see it like that. It's like purely for myself. Don't give a shit if anyone buys it.
I'm having like this identity crisis on why the hell am I writing trilogies? Because I came in on David Gemmell. Like, he was my big fantasy influence. My dad forced me to read Lord of the Rings because the first movie came out, and I hadn't read.
How old are you?
I'm not answering that question. But the first movie came out, and I really liked it. And he's like, I won't take you to the second movie until you read all 3 books.
That's parenting right there. That
is
excellent parenting.
And I mean, he did me a favor because I wanted to be a fantasy. But my point is, David Gemmell, although he wrote series in a very loose definition thereof, all of his books also stand alone. So now I'm having this identity crisis on why the hell do I seem to think that all of my books have to be this giant story, when all I ever wanted was to write like him. There you go. Thanks a lot, Gareth.
It's all right. Existential dread while you wait.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the hazard of knowing intelligent people. They pose intelligent theories, and then idiots like me are stuck going, oh shit.
Who am I? Yeah. And so I think that the takeaway, what I'm getting from this, is write a standalone, but leave the ending open enough that you can turn it into a trilogy if you absolutely have to.
Yeah.
That does seem to be the logical thing, but the other 2 trilogies is book 2 is always, I say always in my trilogy, it isn't. Book 2 is always like, a very weird, awkward thing, because like, we have solved this problem. There's a bigger problem which we can't solve until book 3. Then we solve this intermediate problem that's on the way to the big problem.
Yeah, it's the middle syndrome where there's no beginning, but also no end. Yeah.
Yes. Whereas I currently solved it in Lands of the Firstborn by solving absolutely everything in book 2, and then book 3, to the extent that when we were editing it, I had to put in a big static, there is a third book. The story continues in book 3.
Please come back and buy the next one.
I know this feels like a duology. I know it's basically, and then the world ended and they all went home and it was all over and there were no final plot hooks. But there are.
There are actually some plot hooks. Please come back. You solved your own problem too well, maybe.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So lesson learned for this next trilogy is the Sword Defiance second book a little bit more open at the end.
Well, it's Sword Defiance that does that, the Sword and Bound, where it solves everything, and then book 3 is 20 years later, and they're all really old. Yeah. It's basically
is that a joke? No, I just have to check. Is that a joke, or is
that book 1 is like, book 1 is like middle-aged hero who's like saved the world 50 years ago when he was young, and book 3 is he sort of comes out of retirement one last time, and is just
Oh, that's interesting.
really, well, not really old, but he thinks himself is really old.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you
see,
think was
sorry,
the
what?
intention that that third one would stand alone, like we were talking about, where people could jump in?
No, absolutely not.
Oh no, okay.
The main intention was me going, okay, I'm kind of
Now
middle-aged
what?
now, and I've written like, two
Oh,
middle-aged guy. I'll put Cultural Mortality. That would be fun to do for a year of writing. Yeah.
So that begs the question: what are you working on now? Standalone, or a new trilogy, or a
Right
standalone that will
now,
become a new trilogy?
yeah.
yeah.
Right now, I'm working on book 4 of Black Iron Legacy, which is not under contract. I'm just ready to see what happens with it. And I promise it to both myself and a few readers. I've got 2 or 3 pitches in with Orbit, but they're waiting until they've the edits on book 3 of the first one getting back to me. And also, gaming has been very, very busy in the last year. I did the Moria source book for the One Ring game, which kickstarted and did really well there.
Oh, cool.
And that was.
Yeah, that's a cool career opportunity. Yeah.
Actually, I've written Moria twice now because I wrote Moria for one company, and then they lost the license, but all the manuscripts belonged to them.
Okay.
So when the license got picked up by a different company and they hired me to do it, I had to start again from scratch.
Oh.
Which was interesting and ultimately a good thing, but it was an odd thing to have to do.
I bet. It must be like the worst case of revision you've ever.
It depends, because like, all the stuff that was directly from Tolkien, obviously I could keep because a lot of there were a lot of fixed points, but it was a lot of okay, my instinct would be like to do this, but I can't do that. I've done that already, so I now have to have another idea, and then you sort of pushes things off in interesting directions when you can't take the obvious route. If you come with a list of 20 things, you go, okay, there's 20 ideas. Now comes another 20.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of some dodgy ones in the second pile, but it also you would never think of easily.
Yeah. Yeah, that must be a really educational, informative, creative direction to go in where it's like flexing a brand new muscle.
Yeah, it's like doing sort of mental brain reps, like push it harder now.
Yeah,
do
another set. Yeah, go up 5 pounds and do another set.
Exactly.
Yeah,
makes me so. How good is your memory? So I find I'll be writing, editing something I've written. And I'll be sort of reading as I go, and I'm like, "Oh, he should say something witty like this here." So I'll write that in, and the very next paragraph, he says basically the same thing and damn near identically the same words.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I already did that. Like that already occurred to me.
My memory, it depends on what I'm doing. When I'm in the middle of a project, and I will have it all in here, like not every word, but I will be able to go, there's this plot thread, like 200 pages back. I can read it again now.
Wow.
Plot thread, he had I boast now, but I know I've changed the color of eyes of one character 16 times. but that character left a bag by the door in this random bit early on. I can now mention that bag again and have the character grab it. Look at me, I'm so clever. I do all this foreshadowing.
Oh. I do the opposite where he needed a bag. I guess I'll go back to chapter 3 and write that bag in like I knew what I was doing all along.
I tend to write very, very linearly, as I'll start with page 1, chapter 1, and keep going. And I have cheated like that, but it's cheating. No chance.
See, Krystle?
Yeah,
cheating.
I know.
I fucking told you it was cheating.
Yeah, but you liked my book, so you can't hate it that much.
It's a cheater book.
What I'm writing, it's all in my head. And that's great. Next book, all goes away.
Oh, yeah, That one we do. See, I remember when I was prepping to do an edit on Brick and Bone, and like it was going to be the last big dev edit, so I had to read Whitewash to remind myself what I had said, and all these red tags are like, oh shit, I forgot I said that. I better pick up that plot thread and put it back in. So that one I very much relate to.
Yeah.
Is there anything worse than having to reread one of your own books to remember all the plot? It's like, oh fuck.
The last time I did it, I was happy to do it because it was just like, wow, I did this. But now it's been a few years, and I'm nervous that I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I did this. I'm stuck with this now.
What helps, I've always found, is rereading. Like, if you have to reread something in the manuscript, you hate it. Like, the 17th time I've gone to the same Word doc. It's awful. But I'm rereading my own books now as printed books. Like, oh, this feels like a book I would write myself, because it literally was. But also because it's printed and in different format and off the screen, it feels really fresh and new. That the sense of ownership is sort of attenuated.
Yeah.
What I can't do, I discovered, is listen to my own books on audio.
You can or you can't?
I can't.
Okay.
It's like chewing tinfoil. Like the readers are fantastic, but I think it's just like having my own thought patterns and where I phrase sentences. So it's like listening to a tape or a podcast to yourself, only worse because you're like, it sounds pretentious and because it's prose. It's like you're supposed to sound senatorial, and epic, and great.
Do you generally enjoy audiobooks as a baseline, or because that might have something to do with it?
I'm not a huge audiobook person. I've started. What I've started doing is listen to audiobooks by people who do non-audio book stuff. Like at the moment, I'm listening to Michael Palin's Diaries, and that's great fun. And I got like Andy Serkis's Lord of the Rings ones, like those. Or Garth Marenghi. You guys know Garth Marenghi, don't you?
No.
Garth Marenghi.
We're about to be schooled.
So Garth Marenghi is this English comedian.
Okay.
The comedian is like Matthew Holness, but he's a character called Garth Marenghi. Garth Marenghi, author, fantasist, dreamweaver. Garth is this horror writer, sort of Stephen King-esque figure, and he's incredibly pretentious. I'm one of the few people who's written more books who've written more books than they've read, and so forth. Or the classic line is, "I know writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards."
Oh yes, okay, yeah, okay, all right. I'm familiar.
There's a TV series called Dark Place, where the gimmick was he'd written and starred in this 80s horror show, and now they've released it, and the director's commentary as part of it. It was exquisite satire on writing and writers ever. But he's also written a couple of novels in character, and they're like these terrible Stephen King spoofs, but he writes them himself.
That's fantastic.
And he has this fantastic authorial voice, and I would absolutely recommend that to anyone who's a writer and kind of hates themselves.
Yeah. All of us, isn't it? I can't.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of any writers offhand that don't at least are a little bit embarrassed, maybe.
The quote that was returned to, there's an Alan Moore line, which is unlike serial killing, writing is a dangerous and lonely profession.
Yeah. Well, it's like every time I see a TV show or a movie with an author as the main character, and there's always like the big signing, and there's a soiree event, and the publishers are there and the agents are there, and there's wine and food, and it's an expensive restaurant, and it's like, no, it's hilarious.
And the key bit is he gets the idea for a book, and then the book is out. There is no
Yeah.
intervening, like, you know. Episode 14, you read 1,000 words. Episode 15, you read 1,000 words. Cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely not the writer experience. Where it's not a glamorous situation.
I mean, who's not in their pajamas in the basement right now? We're having a fucking
I'm
heater
not.
about
I'm
that.
not wearing pajamas. I'm wearing my Nintendo shirt. This isn't pajamas. I'm
You're
offended,
a proper
sir.
grown up.
I'm wearing the yellow sign, so, like, you know, that's totally mature.
Yeah. This is where Fletcher stands up and pads away, and we can see his flannel.
It's very red, Christmassy, festive flannel too.
I knew it.
It's the good shit.
It's seasonal in June.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's, what is it, like 42,
Yeah,
43
it's
degrees
hot.
out there right now?
Yeah. AC.
Celsius. Crazy people. Yeah. It's hot down here.
But that was an interesting note on the audiobooks, though, because I find, for kind of the same reason you said that you don't like to listen to them, I found the first time I listened to my audio book, it forced me to become a better writer because I could hear very clearly all of my horrible crutch words.
Oh, absolutely.
Of like taking a deep breath and all of that stuff.
I can do it if I use the text-to-speech thing in Word.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
There's no attempt to make it sound good. It is just saying the words.
Yeah.
It's so staccato and broken up that it doesn't feel like my own thoughts, like someone trying to say my thoughts.
Yeah.
But if someone actually
awesome
understands the words, it's just like,
Oh, yeah. No, I really enjoyed. Maybe my ego is showing, but I really enjoyed listening back to Bright Watch. And I like Paul and Felicity did such a good job that I was like, oh wow, I wrote this. That's pretty cool. But then also it's like, oh, I need to do better editing on the next one.
There's nothing better than write up text in Word thing, send it off, and get it back with lovely layout and in role playing images and so forth. I said there's a dragon there, and someone's done fantastic full page illustration of dragon.
Oh yeah.
And, you're just able to get other people's creativity and use that to burnish your words. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, the other things that people bring to this very lonely profession is really, really cool, and I think it's my favorite thing about this business, other than actually writing the books, is just seeing other people's touches on the things that used to specifically only exist for me. Yeah.
Yeah, getting artists to do illustration in book illustrations for your stuff is great.
Absolutely.
Fuck. Yeah, I'm not gonna sweat over this description because here's a fucking picture.
Yeah. I've been having trouble kind of nailing down exactly what I want the dragons to look like for this one. So I'm like, you know what? I know an artist. I'm just gonna give her some ideas, and then when she draws it for me, I'll describe what she drew, and then that'll be the dragons. Yeah.
When Molesky turned in the cover art for A War to End All.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
I went back and rewrote that scene because his cover art was so much better than the scene we wrote. It was like. My scene falls flat compared to this, so it's like, all right, back we go.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Great fun.
Do you ever get the opportunity to do stuff like that through the traditional or through the trad houses that you're doing, Gareth? Do you ever get to go, wait a minute?
I've been very lucky with cover art for all my books.
Okay.
I'm very, very happy with all the covers. They've done lovely stuff, and I'm able to, for the maps, I'm able to drag in people I know from gaming to do those. So.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah.
I go, here, John, have a way, ragged sketch map. I know you will do lovely stuff with this.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of art direction for games, and it's always such a.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a joy to go. I go what I especially love, one of the games I was doing was this adventure for Heart. Heart is this weird, surreal meat hell dungeon. Basically, it's like other dimension under this fantastic city, and like it's all shape-shifting monsters and surreal weirdness. And it was quite great to write art notes like coming up the corridor is this train with legs, and it's got the face of the character's mother, and it's vomiting acid, and it should feel somehow alluring. You're going, click, send. And then like a few minutes later, the artist comes back, and they go, here you go.
That's incredible.
If you don't break your artist, are you even really trying?
Yeah.
They want to be challenged creatively. That's what I tell myself.
Yeah. That's how you make it okay in your conscience.
Yeah.
I love just sending a paragraph of ranting, about the character and just like psychotic ranting, and end with just make this insanely and gratuitously cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I was doing that. I was getting together a map brief for the city I'm doing, and I was going through like what I drafted so far, trying to find like notes on like neighborhoods and stuff. And I'm like, this is the most pretentious thing I've ever done. Like, who cares? Who cares about the size and shape of this building? And I sent it off to him like, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to me. This is so much. This is so over the top. And then like his response was, oh, I'm really excited to do this. Thank you for all these notes. I was like, oh, well, okay then. Either he's unfailingly polite and humoring me, or he's really great and he's really excited to do.
He cried himself to sleep.
We both.
Yeah, probably. We're artists. This is what we do.
Yeah, the ones I know really guilty about are stuff like the picture is indescribable. It is simultaneously like a bird, but also not quite there, and sort of see-through, but bright, and also like there are tentacles somewhere.
And here's a picture.
Exactly. Yeah. Or like, here are 6 pictures for an inspiration, none of which correspond to each other. I have no idea how you make them work together. Just do your best.
That's going to be me sending the brief for the dragons. I'm already sorry.
Yeah. With the cartographer I hired for this special edition thing, instead of sending him an art brief, I sent him a backstory for the cartographer that was going to do the map. And he's like, what? Like, this is who you are. You have to role play this cartographer while you're drawing the map for me. And so I was like, very clear on how drunk he had to be and how unhappy while he was making this map. He's just like,
has he worked with you before? Like, is
no. I'm not sure if he will again either, but we'll see.
I mean, I'm impressed he invented like method cartography.
Fletcher absolutely would.
Yeah, well, I didn't want the same old fucking fantasy map that we've seen in every fantasy book. I was like, I want an unhappy, neurotic, alcoholic cartographer to do this. So, that's what I got.
What are these marks on the map?
I'm stealing that idea. Idea for the next world I make. Oh, that's fantastic.
You gotta entertain yourself somehow.
Yeah.
And if it's not breaking artists,
Yeah. Why?
And on that note, we're hitting half an hour there. Gareth, thank you for joining us again.
No, always a pleasure. I put the different books into sort of down, by the way. The character visits the inn.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, awesome.
I paid my dues.
The price of entry. Thank you so much for coming on with us. That was a lot of fun. And my bonus question is, are you going to Glasgow in August?
I am, for reasons that are increasingly obscure.
Okay.
I'm bringing the entire family, so I'll be easily spotted by the person with the 5-year-old on their shoulders. So I'm not sure how much of the con I'll be around for, but I'll be around for some of it, and I've signed up for panels and so forth. And I'm doing Gen Con the week before, so I will be.
Oh wow, you're going to be busy.
No, dead. That's the word. Dead is.
Dead, yeah.
Yeah, I'm flying back to Gen Con on the Sunday, flying out to Worldcon on the Tuesday.
Wow. That's very ambitious. And with children, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, the children aren't coming to Gen Con.
So Krystle's going to try and track you down at Worldcon and maybe shoot a very short chat if you're up to that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Slurring is acceptable.
yeah. Even if it's just us cheers, a pint, and then cut to the next guest.
No, can do.
All right, sounds great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Dublin was a lot of fun, and Glasgow will be too.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much again, and we'll see you in August. And I guess that's it for us.